Magdalena went for her dream holidays in Egypt. A lot to see, a lot to do. She was enjoying her stay, but something terrible happened that would raise a lot of mystery and dilemma. A CCTV footage was released. As this Polish girl was dragged by a group of men, she appears as she is trying to break free. Magdalena was alone on this trip to Egypt, but what will happen is very strange. Apparently later, she falls out of the window and dies mysteriously. But what really happened? She was staying at a 4-star hotel, Three Corners Equinox Beach Resort at Abu Dabab, a luxury hotel. One night stay costing around $100. This place was common for Russian and Polish tourists. A lot of people from Europe also visited this resort and Egypt in general, despite the dark reputation of the country, as many tourists were kidnapped and even killed. The very first pieces of information you get in Egypt is that it's not recommended to go alone without a tourist guide. Local people often are aggressive towards tourists, and when it comes to women, a lot of sexual harassment happens on a daily basis, even when women are accompanied by men. Now back to Magdalena. She went to Egypt in 2017 for a week vacation. From the first day, strange things happened to her from the first days of her stay at the hotel. The hotel staff and guests noticed that she had a strange behavior. She would be quiet and that out of nowhere started to run and dance. She would lay down on the hotel lobby and curl, but the stuff was used with strange behaviors as many tourists abused with illegal substances and alcohol, and they thought this was another case of crazy tourists in their hotel. However, her unusual actions continued to deteriorate. The girl's travel agent Mahmoud Kairi felt like it was his fault for what had happened to her. In Egypt, when you go on holiday, you will have a hotel guide assigned to you. This guide is there to help you with different things like buying trips or getting medical help. There is always someone at the hotel who can help you and is ready to assist you. Mahmoud knew Polish, so he was able to contact the girl's parents. Magdalena Zuck was just a regular girl from Poland with a humble family. She had her parents in Poland and also a boyfriend she was going to marry. Magdalena grew up in a small town called Bogatin in Poland. The town had around 15,000 people. When she was 17 years old, she went to live in the big city of Zgorzelec. This city offered her better chances for education and career growth. Magdalena was also very beautiful, tall, with blonde hair and blue eyes. No surprise, she wanted to be a model. However, her modeling career did not work out, and she decided to become a cosmetologist. So she started her own beauty salon and gave nutritionist advice to clients. She really enjoyed looking after herself. She would go to the gym, do her own manicures, and take care of herself. The girl was very popular and attractive, and of course she dreamed of meeting her love and starting a family. Magdalena met her boyfriend in a concert, a good-looking guy named Marcus. In just 2 weeks, they started living together. Then, a few months later, to the surprise of everyone they announced the decision to get married. It was a surprise for her loved one how fast she decided to take a big step in her life, but Magdalena was truly in love. So the Egypt trip was a present for her boyfriend on his birthday, so they can spend a romantic week there. She even borrowed money from her father to make this happen, as she was struggling financially at the time. But Marcus's passport will expire in 4 months, and to go to Egypt you need a passport that is valid for at least 6 months. Magdalena was devastated by her news. She couldn't even refund her money, and she had nobody to travel with. All her friends rejected her offer to travel together. Encouraged by her boyfriend, she finally decided to go by herself. Marcus said goodbye to her at the airport. During her trip, she managed to make a new friend, a girl that she used to hang out with in the hotel during her first days. And then everything changed. She started acting weird. She started going around the hotel and disturbing other guests. Her eyes were widely open and she would talk weirdly. The girl she met decided to avoid her. During the night, she would call her boyfriend and tell him she is hearing strange voices in the room. The poor girl was scared, anxious, and claimed somebody has entered her hotel room. Immediately, her boyfriend called the hotel and asked for them to verify and check her room. The staff rushed to her room and found nothing suspicious. She would continue her strange and disturbing behavior the coming days. Her strange behavior continued. She was disturbing all the tourists and staff of the hotel, behaving aggressively and very strange. The hotel staff had to call her guide. Mohammed tried to calm her down, but it didn't work. He then called her family, informing them of the situation. They were all surprised as she never did this before. She never had mental problems, neither got treated on such health problems. The tourist guide had no other choice. He had to ask them to pick her up and take her back home. Her boyfriend couldn't go, unfortunately, because of the passport issue. The same case was with her parents, so no one went to take her back, but her condition worsened. The staff would find her laying in the doorway of the hotel rooms. She was on the ground and continued doing strange and unusual sounds and movements. She would cover her face and stay down. Hotel security would pick her up and take her to her room. There, she would lay down in a robe and cry. They even called the ambulance. The doctors decided to take her to the hospital to visit a psychiatrist. There, she was asked to take some blood tests, but after her refusal, she was sent back to the hotel. Back home, her parents and her boyfriend contacted the Polish embassy and the travel agency there. After a lot of attempts, they finally booked a ticket for her to return back home. Her strange behavior continued. She was disturbing all the tourists and staff. She goes all over the hotel and bothers the people around her. But a night before her flight, she climbed to the hotel roof. Fortunately, at that time, she didn't do what all were afraid she will. The hotel security was able to stop her and take her back to her room. The next day, they attempted to send her to the airport, but it was very difficult as she was aggressive, screaming, and even trying to take her clothes off. The same happened at the airport. The airport officials could not put her in that condition in the plane. After the police intervention, she was taken back to the hotel. On the other hand, the hotel refuses to take her back as she was causing many problems. The travel agent was in big trouble. Mohammed was stuck with her and didn't know what to do. So she called back her boyfriend, Marcus. This video call was recorded and online. Her boyfriend tried to calm her down and asked her to describe what's going on, but her answer could change the course of the case. She would say strange sentences. "I will not return from here. They are doing all sorts of tricks here. Take me away from here, please. I can't talk, sorry. It's useless." Immediately after the conversation, Magdalena would strangely calm down and react to nothing. The travel agent urgently sent her to the hospital. After several hours of sleep, she gets up and continues her aggressive acts, screaming and trying to escape from there. The situation is out of control. The medical staff are trying to calm her down and to catch her, as the CCTV footage later released shows. Finally, the group of many puts her back into her room, where she is tied and given sedatives to calm her down. After some time, she got free, according to the staff testimony. Either she was set free to go to the toilet, or she managed to untie herself. In the meantime, a friend of Marcus, her boyfriend, arrived in Egypt to help Magdalena return home. He was informed that Magdalena was put in an induced coma and has suffered many injuries. After a lot of negotiations, he manages to arrange her transportation in a Polish hospital so she can undergo surgeries. Unfortunately, her condition gets worse, and she died in the hospital the same day. According to the official statement, her death was a result of multiple injuries after jumping from the window. This story was rapidly reported in the mainstream media all around the world, especially in her home country of Poland. The media was questioning the reason of her death. The investigation immediately started in her hometown. More than 200 witnesses, tourists, friends, ex-boyfriends, family were questioned. All her belongings, including her phone, laptop, clothes, were examined. Her boyfriend was also checked and all his electronic belongings were taken by the police. At the same time, professionals analyzed her psychological behavior. However, there was lack of collaboration from the Egyptian officials as they did not send all the protocols of interrogations of Egyptian witnesses and original surveillance recordings from the official hospital where she was kept and died. These elements were crucial to the investigation. What made the Polish girl act strangely and what caused her death were the crucial answers the family and all of Poland and the world needed. Even after 6 years of her death, there is still a mystery on this case. Just a few versions of what possibly happened have been circling the opinion. The main one is that Magdalena had a mental condition and that she did act strangely back in Poland. Also, one of the elements the police investigated is her agreement to marry her boyfriend just 2 months after they were together and immediately booked a trip to Egypt without even consulting her boyfriend. In general, couples take time when it comes to marriage and also discuss trips like this. But again, is that enough to prove her mental condition? Many disagree. The officials say her heavy drinking and her unstable personality combined worsened her condition during her trip in Egypt, and that she was not given on time medical attention, but her family strongly disagrees. They claim she never had mental problems, and those kind of problems do not appear suddenly at that bad state as she was during her trip. They claim she was given illegal substances. Yes, tests revealed that the woman had a strong antipsychotic drug in her body. This drug is commonly used by doctors to treat conditions like psychosis, bipolar disorder, and depression. But it's likely that she received this drug while she was in the hospital. Additionally, a report from Egypt's toxicology department revealed that there was an illegal substance found in Magdalena's blood. This substance is derived from leaves that are commonly found in the local area. In some Arab countries, people often use this substance instead of alcohol. These same substances in Poland are against the law. Magdalena's family believes that the reason for her behavior in the hospital is because she was affected by this plant. Another version claims that someone added illegal substances to Magdalena's drink with the intention of sexually assaulting her or potentially trafficking her. It's not safe for single girls to go on vacation in Egypt because there have been several cases of foreign tourists getting kidnapped there. People have said in the news that Bedouins from Sinai Island have taken foreign women and are asking for money or selling them as slaves, or for their organs. In many cases, women who are traveling alone have been given sleeping pills or illegal drugs without their knowledge. They do this with an intention of sexually assaulting or kidnapping them. In Egypt, many female tourists complain about being harassed every year. Women in the area also face difficulties. A vast majority of them, over 99%, have experienced harassment from men. This problem is really common in this country, so it's not surprising that the pretty Polish girl Magdalena Zuck, who was alone and drinking alcohol, could easily be targeted by attackers. One of the versions claims they gave her drugs with the intention to kidnap or sexually assault her, but then when she started acting strange, they took a step back as their plan didn't work. Also, one of the versions claims it's possible they have already hurt her while she was using illegal drugs. People claim it might have been the reason she felt like ending her life. Magdalena acted like something really bad happened to her, like she was trying to run away from someone. It seemed like something happened to her that made her not want to live anymore. But this version was taken down as the autopsy results showed that when Magdalena died, the only injuries she had were from falling out of a window. Also, the involvement of her boyfriend is rumored, but it was quickly debunked as he didn't even know regarding the trip to Egypt. The tourism industry is the biggest way this country makes money. If there's a scandal, people might not want to go on tours anymore. The Egyptian authorities might be keeping a lot of information about this case hidden to avoid attention. Some people think that Mahmoud, the tour guy, who was with her and took her to the hospital, might have something to do with Magda's death. This version is also with weak arguments. Mahmoud has been in the tourism industry for a long time and nobody has ever complained about him. If he was part of it, he wouldn't have helped her. Instead, he would have probably just vanished to avoid getting noticed. Anyway, this story still has too many parts that are unclear and a mystery. What do you think? Was Magdalena killed, or was it a suicide?